Welcome back to Nigeria at 54, Path to Nationhood, where we examine the president's speech for the country, where he did highlight the path, what we ought to do. He enjoins us all to pull together to move the country forward. He talks about what the government has done, what they intend to do, how they intend to solve security. And speaking of which, we're starting off focusing on security today on the program, and we're joined by two distinguished men, retired Captain Aliyu Umar on my far left, who is a security analyst. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you.
And then we also have Dele Ashaju. Dele has been he's done extensive research in war-torn areas as Pakistan, Afghanistan, India. Thank you for coming on as well today.
Thank you.
Well, the president, while he did address the country today, talked on a wide range of issues, a part of which, of course, security, the insurgency, which you spoke about the last time. But the message was that, yes, we're doing what we can, and then also thinking that, yes, we need to do a lot more. But bottom line, he reminds us all that they're not forgetting that we have a challenge on our hands and we need to solve it. Having listened to his speech, what do you think of it?
We just need to, thank you very much. We need to really grab the bull by the horn, head on with the situation in the country. We have to address it holistically, militarily, politically, everything. If you look at the setting of Nigeria, the military setting of Nigeria, I think this is the first challenge after the Civil War. And after the Civil War, we dropped the ball. You know, we had a Civil War, every country capitalizes on Civil War. America set up her military after the Civil War and then became a world dominant. France, Soviet Union, all nations, China. But in our situation, after the Civil War, we dropped the ball. And we didn't have, I guess because we didn't have an enemy next door. Someone staring us in the face to really pound on us, like you have Israel against the Palestinians, you have America against the Soviet, you have China against Russia and the world. You have, when you have an enemy right behind your back, you cannot relax. You cannot go to sleep. You have to stay on course. Look at Cuba. When you see all these countries, their military is sound. Why? They don't take nothing for granted. We take everything for granted. You know, so it shows we are paying for it now. This is the outcome of our I would say our attitude towards the military.
Well, Captain Umar, if I could bring you in here, I mean, yes, you've spoken about some of these matters earlier before today, but looking at when the president was delivering his speech, towards the latter part, that confidence, even all through, almost, as some people did describe it, as well as I highlighted the opening sequence here this evening, he sounded optimistic and very positive. And there are those who will tell you they look to the president, they look to his body language, president of any country, to show direction and action. But having listened to that speech, what did you see? I mean, he sounded completely different and optimistic, as though we will get this done.
Yes, he was confident indeed. And I want to say one thing. The person of the president actually encompasses someone who is confident and looks to do more. But as I said on this same forum, a president can only be as good as his cabinet. We must look to that. You see, Nigeria is like a child that has overgrown its clothes. We are bursting at the seams. We are asking for more and better. The clothes don't fit anymore. And it's gotten to the stage where the clothes are constraining the body, our collective existence. So we need to actually open it up a bit. We need to upgrade on a lot of things. That's the way I see it. But okay, the president's confidence is well placed.
Let me even jump in and then let's get the exact words of what the president said in this one.
All those waging war against our country ask that you lay down your arms and embrace peace. To those who have genuine grievances, I have found that Nigeria will listen to you if you bring your grievances to the table of dialogue. To the good people of Nigeria, let me restate that our task for building a better and greater country must not waver. While we continue to deploy our resources in the fight against the terrorists, we do recognize the great toll the conflict is taking on our people. This is why, to assist the afflicted, we have launched the Victim Support Fund, and an independent multi-sectoral charity which will aggressively solicit resources to augment government's statutory intervention in bringing succor to the injured, the displaced, and the bereaved.
Well, what one notices, you know, as you rightly pointed out, the president sounded a lot more confident, but the last statement you made was that he has reason, good reason to be so. Why do you say so?
I tell you for a fact that I have watched closely that individual called Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and I have also superimposed him on a party called the People's Democratic Party. Now, the subtleties of politics happen to be an area of my least competence, but I see a man whose body language and the body language of his party don't really blend. And for a party as strong and in-depth as the PDP, there has to be a middle ground. We're looking at a country that is so big, it houses some 170 million plus people. And Nigeria is so plural, people of different ethnic nationalities, people of different religions, people of different socio-political and economic views. And here is one man who actually has to anchor this all and move us forward. It all rests on one thing, the quality of his cabinet. The people who advise Mr. President, the people who drive Mr. President's success must think Nigeria and not necessarily their ethnic divides or their regional divides. No, Nigeria is not a fraction. It's a whole number, a figure, no less. So I'm still very, very, very confident that the individual, you know, exudes the body language today in his speech. But we probably are seeing a situation where the soul may be willing, but the body is dead.
Okay, now that doesn't quite, it sounds a lot more complex.
What do I mean here? He actually wants to go somewhere, but the conditionalities of politics in Nigeria could draw him down. Let me give you an example of a president is only as good as his cabinet. Supposing you had a chief who is actually chief because it's the turn of his region or his religion or his tribe to be chief. How do you deliver? Let the man who can take us there, regardless, be at the helm of affairs. And it happens all over.
Is this about the president? Because what we're trying to look at now is us as a country.
Yes.
Mr. Tadru made reference to how far we've come in terms of, you know, how we did not seize the opportunity after the Civil War to, you know, strengthen our military. A lot of people will say that that is because it was more about regime protection, you know, when the military took over shortly during our Civil War and after that, and, you know, it was more about regime protection. What I'm looking more at is, you know, the immediate, I'm trying to x-ray last year's speech where it was saying, I mean, he made reference to it, talking about how we were sober last year, and he says we still retain that mood into this year because of, you know, constant terrorism. But it would seem that the language somewhat has changed in terms of, you know, mourning to we've taken charge of this and we're a lot more confident that we are on top of this situation.